And what a week it has been in professional wrestling. Welcome back. This is episode 3 of the GrapChats Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. My name is Steve Willis. And as always, I am joined by Matty. Hello,
Hey,
Matty.
g'day, mate. How you doing?
I am good. I am good, man. We've had your second week of reviewing the Marathon 4-hour AEW television event.
They are
That
really
will be happening
fun.
later in the show,
They're
but
really fun. It's a lot. It's a
it's
lot
just
in
so
one
long.
sitting. Yeah, like on a weekday too. It's a long session. Like what a weekend when you could like you know what I mean? Like you could like carve out time on like a weekend to be like I'm gonna just sit and indulge. But like it's harder on a weekday for sure.
Yeah, 4 hour. I mean, you've got to fit it around a work schedule and doing dad things, and yeah,
I like don't
because
make it sound like it's a sound. Oh no, I have to squeeze in watching the wrestling I like around my real like. Oh no, how
yeah,
awful that is that I
yeah,
have to deal with
life
this
life shit gets in the way, but still, wrestling's worth it.
for sure. Speaking of, how was Renegades, man?
Renegades was sick. I got to see a lot of uh Aussie talent pro wrestlers. The got to have a quick chat to the legendary Crackerjack. I
Ooh,
tell you
fun.
what, Mr. Crackers is he's a rare case, but in the best possible way. The best possible way. The dude's a legend, and I've got all the time in the world for Crackers. And he captured the Renegades Tag Team Championship along with the man they call Gore. And Gore, have you seen a Gore match before?
Nope.
He's just a freak. Like he's muscled up as all shit, and he's a legit martial artist as well. So he's got very serious moves and just all of the stage presence, all of the character,
Yes.
and yeah, he's
Yes.
very, very good. And him and Crackers together as the Bastard Brothers, they're great tag team champions. They're going to be legendary tag team champions, I think, for this company. So
I like that. I saw that Instagram stuff you're putting up. I was jealous. I saw Big Caveman Ugg. I love Caveman Ugg. I saw that like Indy was there, obviously, because she had to defend her
yes,
belt.
oh yes,
Against who was it? It was
Tali. So
Tali. That's it. I was gonna say
it was
Tari. I'm like, that's a place. That's not.
yeah, it's a town.
That's
That's
a
that's
place.
absolutely a town on the north coast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Tali.
so
Sorry, I was close. I got it away.
But Tali
Apologies.
was great because it was like it was a tricky thing because like Indy had only just recently won the title
Mm-hmm.
and come back to Australian independent wrestling, so everyone's still super excited that she's there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Tali has been on the grind for ages, and so it's like we didn't want to see either of them lose,
Yeah.
which I should have seen coming a mile away. WrestleBrain should have kicked in and go, oh, one of them's turning heel. And it was Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So it's, yeah, definitely um, building a lot of intrigue towards future events. Whenever they're having events on a Sunday, not a Saturday, because I work Saturdays, but Sunday events, I'm definitely going to Melbourne. It's worth the several hours of driving to get there,
Hell yeah.
to go to these shows because they're so much fun.
Speaking of so much fun, there was a lot of fun wrestling news that happened over the last week. So I'm going to power through it at the speed that I can get it through to everybody.
Yes.
Again, we do not cover NXT, but formerly Mariah May, I guess, of AEW, had her new name revealed for NXT, which is Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe is apparently a combination of her niece's name, Blake, and Monroe for Marilyn Monroe. I like it. It's cute. No notes. I think it's fine. As I like alliteration personally, but Blake Monroe is it's a cute name, and I like the little bit done there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Danhausen's AEW contract is apparently up in July. Danhausen was never a character that I got. It's not for me. Like it was one step too silly all the time for me. But super popular, and I hope that he gets to go and do great things, obviously. Hiroki Goto, our current IWGP Heavyweight World Champion for New Japan, has said that he would love to wrestle either Okada, Ospreay, or Shibata at Forbidden Door this year. Yeah, any of those. Any of
Yep.
those. Any of those are
I
great.
would be absolutely happy
No,
with any of those
yep,
options.
no stress. That sounds fantastic. Please let him do that.
Yeah.
In a weird, I guess like a meta case of news, Adam Pacitti, who was legendary as someone who was involved with What Culture and What Culture Pro Wrestling, and then the YouTube channel Cultaholics, is leaving that channel and kind of leaving wrestling content creation behind. I have watched a shit ton of Adam Pacitti content over the course of the last decade of my life, I think. And yeah, that is I hope they do really, really great things with whatever insane thing he ends up doing next. Endlessly creative man. Abaddon, AEW's resident spooky girl, is now officially a free agent, is already taking independent bookings. I hope she crushes it wherever she ends up. Abaddon is a very, very fun character to watch, and like spooky wrestling definitely has its place in wrestling, obviously. So
yeah,
I hope she does fantastic things. Commander was unfortunately injured and then written off the AEW Summer Blockbuster show. No specified reason given as to what currently he's experiencing, but was written off the show. Was replaced in the 6-man match with Mascara Dorada, which was, still perfectly fine, but I hope they get well soon. Fightful has reported that AEW's new title, which we'll talk about when we get to that section, will be booked like a top-tier title, not a mid-tier one, based on what it is. Yep, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Makes total sense to me.
Who's fighting for it makes
100%.
all the sense in the world.
100%. PW Insider reported that WWE is hoping that Bianca Belair will return to in-ring by SummerSlam, if not slightly before. Bianca is incredible, probably one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. I hope she's back soon. Earlier would be great. Bianca is goddamn incredible.
She's a cornerstone of that division, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Mascara Dorada, it looks like we are getting upcomingly on ROH, which I don't watch and we don't cover as much, a world title match between Bandito and Mascara Dorada. That should be insanely fun. So whenever that match comes around, that will be one to, even if you don't watch ROH, it'll show up online somewhere. Please go do watch that. It would be fantastic. There is that other bit of news, but we have to get to that after we report about Raw. Private Party's AEW contracts are apparently coming up quite soon. I like Private Party as a tag team. I feel like their run kind of peaked early, and then they got the titles really late, and they had a lot of injuries where one of them would be injured and the other wouldn't, which was kind of annoying. But whether they stay in AEW or they don't, they are two tremendously talented wrestlers. So I hope they continue to do fantastic things. Also, Jamie Hayter apparently is currently not cleared to wrestle, which is why she hasn't been showing up yet. Hopefully she comes back soon. People are speculating that it might be a concussion based on the roll-up / DDT that she took when being defeated by Mercedes.
It did look bad.
Just full on her face.
Yeah.
It might also explain why the debut of Tekla was slightly odd, where it was kind of lights back, lights come, camera comes back. Jamie's already on the ground, so maybe it was hiding something there. So
yeah, that makes sense, because that was an ugly landing.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh.
And then the most recent one, when I thought I'd gotten all the news for the last week, Sports Illustrated reported that AEW and Jon Moxley are being sued for negligence, civil assault, and battery by a production crew member. I will try and read this verbatim. Dispenser, which is the gentleman's surname, said the injuries occurred on the May 10th, 2023 edition of AEW Dynamite, which took place in Detroit. There, Moxley faced Kenny Omega in a cage match, which I remember. That was a good one, which ended up spilling to the outside. I believe that went through the outside because Kenny kneed Mox through the cage, which was great. When they were spilled to the outside, Moxley went to grab a screwdriver from a crew member, which is the gentleman in question, to use on Omega, and in doing so kind of pie-faced them and shoved them to the ground. The lawsuit claims that Moxley was only supposed to grab the screwdriver, and they took an unpleasant fall as a result of being shoved. People found the footage of it. Some people are saying, why has it taken 2 years for this to come forward? Why wasn't there any injuries reported? This is just like a weak shove to the ground. It could be all mad. Like, look, it's just been announced, so who knows where it ends up going through litigation and discovery and all of those things. But you can get very simple injuries from very silly things. My partner a couple months ago did a body weight lunge and dislocated her knee and broke her leg in 2 places doing a lunge. Just a standard lunge with nothing. So you could get real hurt from small, silly things. And if this is a person that was not signed off to be involved in physicality, then Mox shouldn't have pushed him, essentially.
Yeah.
So, like, Mox did a dumb, like, if I had to guess, it's like, caught up at the moment, adrenaline's going, and maybe it's like, maybe this will make me look like more dangerous, more unpredictable, and like maybe I shoved them harder than I thought I was going to because like adrenaline, like who knows? But like, long and the short of it is, you know, production crew is there to just do their job and not be pushed to the ground.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I'm sure, because I mean, it's quite normal to see trainee wrestlers in those positions sort of around the ring holding cameras or audio equipment or something. But surely there would have to be some delineation before the show saying, all right, these guys are the trainee wrestlers. You can put your hands on them if you need to. These guys are actual TV production guys. Don't fucking touch them.
Surely you'd have to sign a waiver too to be like, I consent to being, if I'm, one of those ones, like if I'm injured, I know that there's a risk of, like, same when you go like skydiving or ziplining or any of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame. Look, my unbiased love of Mox is like, the man did a dumb. I hope the person he pushed is not too horrifically injured. I hope it all gets sorted and settled. And that is the news from the week, other than the one I have to save until after we talk about Raw. So should we talk about Raw?
We shall talk about Raw. Actually, before we do, just to circle back to the Danhausen contract news.
Yes.
Do you think, like, there's been a lot of speculation was because Danhausen is known to be friends with Punk, is sort of why not much happened with Danhausen on AEW television. Do you think his relationship with Punk may play a part in where he goes going forward? Do you think?
I mean, look, couldn't hurt.
Like,
doesn't suck. Like,
it's. I know a lot of people like immediately jump to, oh, this contract's expiring in AEW. They're going to WWE and treat it like it's a foregone conclusion. I don't think that's a good thing to do, but in his case, it could be valid, I think.
I'm trying to picture Danhausen in WWE, and I can't picture it off the top of my... Like, it's just one of those things that, like, it doesn't seem correct. But then again, like, R-Truth did silly shit for years. So, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe. Look, weirder things have happened. And yeah, of course, having a friend who's like a big name in another company, it doesn't suck. Can't hurt your chances of things going well. So, yeah, like, it would be cool. I want the people who spend their time wrestling and entertaining people and essentially hurting themselves for it to, like, do well and be paid accordingly and compensated well. So wherever he goes, whether it's just crushing it on the indies and meet and greets and merchandise or whatever it may be, like, again, just because it's not from me. Yeah. But just because it's not from me doesn't mean it's
capable of that.
It doesn't mean it's bad. So I hope whatever he does continues to make him fistfuls of money.
All of the monies.
All of the monies.
All right. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw. So we're starting off Raw with John Cena promo. Comes out. By the way, have you seen the heel entrance of John Cena? Have you been keeping up with that?
Yeah, like I saw Mania. Like, where it's all like it's nothing. It's just his name.
Just plain black, white writing, just says John Cena. New Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his thing is that's all they deserve, all the fans deserve. Like, none of the flash and the color and the pyro and all the shit. just the music and the plain black. And I like it because it stays like, it keeps continuity with the character.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, comes out, cuts a promo on Truth, calling him a lie that the people will get sick of very shortly. He does circle back around to how many dates he has left in his contract, and saying there are 19 dates. And, send in the best competition. Don't send me Truth, CM Punk interrupts. He tells Cena that the title has corrupted him like it did to Punk in 2012. So I like where Punk is coming from in that sense, because that sort of heel run in his big title run was very, very good.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm happy that's being referenced.
Mm-hmm.
And Cena then says to Punk, if you want to save wrestling, take the title from me in Saudi Arabia. Now, for those who hadn't been keeping up, Saudi Arabia is kind of a point of contention for Punk, because he once sent out a tweet telling Miz to suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia. And now it looks like he might be main eventing a show there.
And Cena referenced it in Instagram. Do you see he put a picture up of the Miz from that match? That's the post. I was like,
yeah.
Oh my god!
That was a bit. That was a chef's kiss from Cena. Yep, that was well done. I'll pay that. At the end of the promo, Seth Rollins comes out, but just basically to flash the briefcase. Just that little reminder. Hey, everyone, I've got this briefcase, and I could do something really cool with it. And then walks back out again. Our first match was Chad Gable as Chad Gable versus AJ Styles. It was a pretty short match, and I think the purpose of it was to display kind of how banged up Gable was from the weekend, because he wrestled quite a few matches. It does, I guess, in that sense, does further the El Grande Americano story, because, it's showing, two different personas, but the same guy, he's got the very heavily taped arm, because he was selling his arm quite a lot in the match with Vikingo. AJ wins with the Styles Clash. Yeah, again, it did not take a lot of time. It was a pretty short match, but good. Leads us straight into the Queen of the Ring first round 4-way match. We got Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Kairi Sane, and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne and Liv, despite sort of being opposed to each other within the Judgment Day, did work together early in the match quite well to take out Rhea. Now, later on in the match, this actually was quite cool. The finish of the match was very cool. Rhea hits the Riptide on Liv. Raquel Rodriguez comes out, drags Rhea out of the ring. Kairi Sane hits the Insane Elbow on Liv, and it looks every bit as sick as it does every other time. And then Roxanne sneaks in out of nowhere and rolls up Kairi Sane for the win. So Roxanne Perez moves on to the semifinals in Queen of the Ring. And before they cut to anything else, they sort of go to Michael Cole on commentary, and Ron Killings comes out with no entrance, no announcement, just sort of runs in out of the crowd, grabs a mic, and stands up on the announce table to cut a promo, thanking the audience for demanding his return. Makes it quite clear that that's why he's back, which I think is a good thing. It sort of strengthens that relationship between him and the crowd.
For sure, yep.
And announces that he is now Ron Killings. He's not known as R-Truth anymore. And confirms this by cutting off his dreadlocks with a pair of scissors just right there on the announce table.
He gives himself Minoru Suzuki's haircut It's great.
It did look kind of Suzuki-ish.
And look, if you want to look like look,
It
they're
did
probably roughly the same age. So I mean,
yeah, a couple of
You know
murder
what?
grandpas, a couple of 1-2 murder grandpas.
you know what? As you keep going, though, I want to know. I'm deadly curious now what the actual age difference is. Okay, age. So R-Truth is 53. God damn,
Yeah.
that's right. How old is
How old's Suzuki?
How old is Minoru Suzuki? 57. It's not even that far off.
Yeah.
There's 4 years difference. How do we call Minoru Suzuki grandpa? Truth still looks like that. God damn, man.
Yeah,
Counting the youth in his backyard. Ridiculous.
for sure.
Ridiculous.
100% he's a vampire, confirmed.
100%.
Next up, we have an in-ring promo. Oh, sorry, I skipped something. I'm an idiot.
Is it a Judgment Day segment that we can just skip?
It's a Becky Lynch in-ring promo.
Oh, that's fine.
Actually, it is kind of important. So
Alright, we'll keep that one.
Becky calls out Lyra Valkyria for quote-unquote trying to kill her at Money in the Bank. Instead of getting Lyra, she gets a returning Bayley.
That's right. Pamela's
Bayley
back.
comes back as a babyface, fights Becky Lynch. There's definitely something coming up, possibly more build for the Saudi show.
Or Evolution? One of those.
Or Evolution.
Something.
Could be either one.
Whatever, man. Bailey and Becky's going to rule. Like,
Yeah,
that
those two can't
be
have a bad match. Happy about that.
We'll have jinxed that. Immediately jinxed it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
King of the Ring. First round. 4-way match between Penta, Sami Zayn, Bron Breakker, and Dominic Mysterio. It was pretty quick, really. Especially for a 4-way. Bron Breakker dominates early, as you would expect.
Yep.
It does prompt the other three to team up on him. Dom got a lot of time to shine in this match. I definitely think there's like a babyface turn coming for him soonish. Because
what's soonish in current WWE? Like in 2 years, maybe when they finish that storyline. Like maybe. I was talking with a friend about this today. We were talking about Crown Jewel coming up in Perth, and I was like, I wonder if like Grayson will do anything. And I'm like, are they? I'm like, and I was asking him, I'm like, are him and Waller, like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, still a team? And he went, yeah. And I'm like, that split up started last elimination. That was last year. February. I'm like, it's been almost 18 months and that's still going somehow. Like, so yeah.
But I think the catalyst for it, is going to involve the New Day somehow. Because there's a lot of, like, in the background of other promo segments of seeing Waller talking with New Day or Waller arguing with Theory.
In a year's time, when it's finished, we'll find out. We'll know what happens.
Yeah, maybe they will pull the trigger in Perth just because Australia.
Here's hoping,
but yes,
man.
Again, it's another WWE story that desperately needs a bullet put in it. Just let it end.
Hopefully, Dom being a face is sooner than that. But yes, sorry, I interrupted.
But yes, Dom gets a lot of shine in this match. It ends with LA Knight interfering to take out Bron Breakker. Sammy then gets a sort of out of nowhere haluva kick on Dom to get the win. So Sammy moves on to the second round.
Hell yeah.
Or the next part was rough. Or it was difficult to watch.
Okay.
So Nikki Bella comes out for a promo. Bet you didn't have that on your bingo card.
Nope.
The crowd are dead silent.
I didn't even know she wrestled still.
I think this is meant to be a comeback, possibly for Evolution 2.
Cool, yeah.
Because she came out...
I'm there.
The purpose of the promo was to plug Evolution 2. But the crowd were not having a bar of it. It was difficult to watch how dead silent the crowd was. Liv comes out... heel Liv Morgan comes out to applause from the crowd because that's how much the crowd wanted to see Nikki's talking end. She cuts a promo on Nikki. Nikki then mentions, tries to stir some shit regarding Roxanne and Dominic. Liv lays her out with her finish. That's it. Yeah. moving right along, because there was not a whole lot in this particular episode. We're at the main event.
Cool.
Now, a pre-match, we have a promo package, a video package outlining all the damage that Jey Uso has taken in the last 7 days prior to this match, because he had a very big weekend for Money in the Bank weekend. Particular attention was paid to the tsunamis he took from Bronson Reed. And pretty much straight away into the match, like this is end up being quite a one-sided match. Jey Uso selling the ribs, and then eventually we get to a point about halfway through the match. Gunther rips off Jey's shirt to reveal all the athletic tape around the ribs, and the ribs are pretty heavily taped up. So Jey hits the spear on Gunther. The big comeback does happen. He hits the spear, he hits the Uso splash, and Gunther kicks out. Great bit of selling by Jey after that. Very, very good. Gunther hits a spear on Jey, which I think is a good callback to their WrestleMania match where Jey used the rear naked choke, which is Gunther's move, to win that match, and Gunther tries to win with Jey's move, the spear. Jey kicks out. Jey ends up hitting a second spear, goes up for the Uso splash. Gunther moves out the way, immediately locks in the choke. Jey passes out, and we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. Once again, it is Gunther. I'd love to know what Jey does from here, because I mean, it was such a long build, a great sort of underdog story building up to WrestleMania and the big win. They can't do the exact same story again, so I'd love to see what the next story is going to be, or whether they're just going to put him back together with his brother and, I don't know, fight the New Day a couple dozen more times.
I'd selfishly really like face Usos versus heel New Day, like the reverse of their previous dynamic. And to be fair, they had their like series of matches like almost a decade ago now. I know, doesn't it hurt?
Well, my back, yes, because I'm old, and that's what happens when you get old.
But yeah, like, look, I think I've loved Gunther since he was named Walter and was fat, and is great, and he's still great, and like I will happily hope that this second world heavyweight title reign for him is slightly more eventful than his first was, slightly closer to his IC title reign. I hope.
Yeah. Would you say is shredded Gunther more or less intimidating than big boy Gunther?
So much less for me. Like there was something about like the guy that looked like he was the dude who like ran the butcher's shop, who just showed up, clubbed you to death, didn't elaborate further, and left. You know what I mean? Like there's something about that. The news regarding this was came out from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which is obviously Davey Meltzer. Said the reason that Jey Uso has dropped the world title is so that to Gunther is so that the upcoming Saturday night's main event, which is on the same day as All In Texas, can be a title match between Gunther and a returning Goldberg for his retirement match in Atlanta. So, so he killed Jey Uso so that Goldberg, which makes no sense in kayfabe, because I think the last match he had was against Roman for the belt.
Yeah.
And then I think like a couple of his most previous matches have been for belts that he's lost, or he's lost the belt, like when he got beaten by Brock. So somehow this guy that keeps losing for championship matches can just show up and be like, yeah, I'm going to do it again though. Because I'm Goldberg.
He's the guy that stopped the Fiend dead in his tracks.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
For the title in Saudi. So yeah, he's the guy that people's champions lose their championships because of that. He does that.
I'm still sad of when he took the belt from Kevin Owens. He took the Universal title from Kevin Owens, I think it was, because that like Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho at that time, that should have been a world title match. Like that could have
been a WrestleMania blood feud.
that was they had like, what was it? They did the Festival of Friendship and all that kind of stuff. Like
That was great.
That should have been the Universal Title match for dumb end. Look, it's fine. I'm happy Gunther has a belt.
Yeah.
Surely Goldberg doesn't win it in his retirement match, right? Right? Surely?
Right? It makes sense. All logic says Gunther's going over in that match. Even though, retirement matches you're supposed to lose.
Why I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Here's
logic
open.
versus procedure.
Was there more logic on SmackDown this week?
There was. Yeah. Luckily. Thankfully. So John Cena once again starts the show with a promo, outlining how he strategized his way to the top. Cody comes in, reminding Cena that Cody pinned him at Money in the Bank. Then Randy Orton comes out, claims he will go through anyone, including Cody, to get his title back. LA Knight then comes out, claiming he's going to win King of the Ring. Then he's going to beat Cena for the title. Just a very crowded opening promo. By the time LA Knight had finished his bit of the promo, Cena had just gets out of the ring and walks off. Which I just thought was cool. Cena's like, I don't have time for this shit. But he does get jumped by Truth on the ramp. And that's sort of an ongoing thing throughout the show. We go into another King of the Ring opening round 4-way. We got Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black. What it did show, and it might be again the new camera shots they've been using, Randy Orton just looks obscenely massive.
He is. He's huge.
But in a match with LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Aleister Black, he just looked particularly gigantic.
He's Batista now.
Yeah.
Him and Batista swapped bodies. They swapped bodies somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, Batista's leaned out, shredded as fuck.
Yeah.
And now Randy is an absolute tank.
Mm-hmm.
A cool spot during the match, Orton had Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes set up for the draping DDT off the middle rope. And LA Knight hits his leaping neckbreaker on Orton, who then DDTs the other two guys. It was a cool setup, fun spot. It looked like off the back of that, LA Knight was going to win. Seth Rollins' two Bronnies come out, interfere in the match, cost LA Knight the win. After that, this was very cool. Carmelo Hayes climbs up to the top rope to do a top rope splash on LA Knight, and he cops an RKO. It was we've seen a few out of midair RKOs. They always look sick.
It's never bad.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes sold it like death. It just made it look $1 million. And as he did that, he landed on LA Knight in the RKO.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
very cool.
So he hits the splash, but takes an RKO in the process. Orton then pins LA Knight to win. And yeah, so Randy Orton moves on to the semifinals.
Cool.
Which is weird to me for being a King of the Ring tournament match. I don't know if that's... Because, remember, the King of the Ring tournament was always going to be, which of these mid-carders is going to be the next guy to get into the main event?
Yeah, it's different now, though.
So what's Cody and Orton doing there?
Yeah, no, now it feels more like which of the superheroes can we send to try and get the belt off of John? That's what it feels more like. Yeah. Yeah,
because, they did specify that when they announced the tournament, that the winner main event
SummerSlam title match, isn't it?
Yeah. Next segment was a promo from Jacob Fatu. He cut the promo on Solo. This was just kicking off some major beef between Jacob and Solo. Basically saying Solo can't take credit for Jacob's success. We see a video package from Solo to interrupt, outlining everything he's done for Jacob, including bringing him to WWE. Kind of trying to manipulate or trying to guilt trip Jacob. Because, that's how Jacob came into WWE, was coming in as an enforcer for Solo. He gives Jacob the chance to rejoin him, and the stipulation to that is you can come back as long as you say, "I love you, Solo." So, the story's moving on. It's making progress, which is good. I'm sure these two will have a great match.
9 more months.
Everything that's going to have an obscenely long build, I'm just going to say, I'm going to see it in October in Perth.
I hope you do.
Because it's going to be a stacked card. I've already got flights booked. I'm going. And
nice.
So, that's just my, I'm going to get so much story progression and big moments. They're going to build it like
Well, in
WrestleMania.
theory, Judgment Day breakup, Cena will lose the belt, Jacob is... You're going to get all of them in one night in Australia for reasons.
Yeah. And Rhea will still main event and win a title.
And Bronson will actually crush someone to actual paste.
They'll get the ring crew there with spatulas to just kind of scrape them off the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have another Queen of the Ring. First round 4-way match. Jade Cargill, Mia Yim, Nia Jax, and Piper Niven. I was surprised by the amount of shine that Mia Yim got in this match. They clearly have something planned for her with how much offense she got in and how great she looked in this match. Getting in a lot of offense against all larger opponents. A cool spot that happened about halfway through, Piper Niven and Nia Jax team up on Jade Cargill. They threw her over the commentary desk and legit just threw her at Wade Barrett. Just chucked her at him. Get
to live your dream.
Piper and Nia were teaming up through a lot of the match. Nia Jax turns on Piper about 2/3 of the way through. Piper Niven runs Nia Jax through the barricade. We've seen that spot 1,000 times with the men. You don't see it that often with the women, and it looked just as cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jade hits her finish on Piper Niven to win, and it looked just so impressive. It's Jade Cargill. Being super strong is her thing, and it got over. It looked cool, hitting the finish on someone as big as Piper Niven. So Jade Cargill moves on to the semi-finals. Naomi comes out to cut a promo. Stated, that she deserved her Money in the Bank win, which is true. 100% true. And the crowd agreed. She did sort of do a bit of a callback to her earlier title feud against Nia Jax, where a lot of those wins were kind of spoiled by Tiffany Stratton, who was Miss Money in the Bank at the time. So she's going to take great pleasure in cashing in on Tiffany. Tiffany comes out, for lack of a better term, just dares Naomi to cash in. It's just, go on, do it. Do it. Cash in. Do it. But Naomi, to her credit, didn't take the bait and just said, no, I'll do it when I'm ready. And that was kind of it. Next match, this was so cool. The Motor City Machine Guns and the Wyatt Six, represented by Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. Great fire from both teams, because I think both teams are baby faces right now. The story was clearly the experience advantage that the Machine Guns have. the Wyatts ended up getting the upper hand in the match, but I think the key sort of story beat that was there was that they did not finish the match until Uncle Howdy gave them the all clear to finish it. Ended up winning with a top rope leg drop, which, Dexter Lumis. A leg drop off the top rope, I just look at it and go, oh, you're going to be in your chiropractor's office for the better part of 6 months.
It did, stuff up old Terry Bollea's like back and hips, how many times he hit the leg drop. But that was just the regular ass one. So
yeah, I think he ended up having like 10 back surgeries.
I mean, he's noticeably shorter now. Like he's a smaller person at this point. He compressed himself.
So you know how sometimes with movies, like the first one's good and then the second one's kind of disappointing?
Yes.
Disappointing sequels are a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so here comes John Cena promo number 2. So, yeah, he gets another in-ring promo.
Sure.
He calls out R-Truth, and Punk comes out. So, Punk...
Is there a brand split anymore?
Brand split, lol.
I'm serious. How does this keep happening?
I think the brand split only seems to exist for the sake of championships.
Yeah, it does seem like that. You can only
like,
win the title on the show.
And SmackDown titles.
Yeah, you can only win that title, but like you can show up whenever you want, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, what did Punk have to say this time?
Drawing more parallels between current day John Cena and 2011 Punk. So it was an excellent promo. So basically saying that you're going to ruin wrestling and leave with the title, well, you're saying the things that I was saying back in 2012, Cena. Which is true. And yeah, so it does sort of highlight that switching of the roles between Punk and Cena from back then versus now. A cool little line right at the end. Punk says to Cena, he ends the promo with, "That's the truth." And then guess who appears right behind John Cena for another beatdown?
Yep.
That'd be Ron Killings.
Big Ron.
Big Ronnie. Jumps Cena from behind again and locks in the SDF on him and just holds it until security drags him off. All right, we are at the co-main event. We have a Queen of the Ring first round 4-way match. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, Alba Fire. Charlotte.
This is a 2-horse race.
Yeah. So Charlotte, very dominant in the early going. Alexa plays a very strategic sort of role through this match. So Charlotte kind of threw her out of the ring right at the start. She just stayed out there until she was ready, until she really picked her spot, and they kind of showed that on camera, that Alexa's just waiting for the right time. A cool spot, Candice hits a springboard moonsault on Charlotte while Charlotte had Alexa in the figure 8. So sort of breaking up the submission with a springboard moonsault. That sort of ring savvy and timing of Candice LeRae is very much... It's something they don't play on very much, but then when she shows it, it's like, yeah, she's really good. Sort of just to remind people that she knows her shit better than most.
Oh man, for people who watched like independent wrestling of like the 2010s, like has seen Candice LeRae in a multitude of intergender matches, and like Candice LeRae is so goddamn good. So yeah, it is always cool to get to see her get the shine that she deserves.
Yeah. Oh, who was it? Was it Kevin? It was Kevin Owens. I know she's had a match with Kevin Owens on the Indies.
The match with Kevin Owens. The one time she took the lumbar check from Cedric Alexander, where it looked like she died. She took the thumbtack super kick from the Bucks. That was awful. Like she's done some gnarly stuff.
The one where Chuck Taylor disappears into the locker room and then comes back in a dress,
dress in a wig so that he's allowed to wrestle her now. Yeah. Chucky T was.
Yeah.
God,
That
Chucky
was
T
great.
was so
That
funny.
was so funny. Loved it. So Charlotte locks in the figure 8 on Alba Fire. But before Alba taps, Alexa runs in, grabs Candice LeRae, hits the Sister Abigail, and gets the pin before the tap happens. They're definitely building a lot of tension between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. That might be our Evolution 2 match, I would say. At this point in time, that looks like the case. Yeah. Those two. Like, how many times have they wrestled in the past? Yeah,
that'll be
that's going to be an awesome match once it happens. King of the Ring, first round, 4-way match is our main event. So we've got Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke Nakamura, Andrade, and Damian Priest. Key spot early in the match, Cody Rhodes gets sent through the Slim Jim table, because of course he does.
Oh yeah.
Building on, it's a car crash of a match. It's a 4-way. That's how they're supposed to be. Everyone hits their finish and gets a near fall on multiple occasions. Cody comes back from his devastating table bump through the Slim Jim table. Hits the crossroads on Shinsuke to win. So Cody moves on to the semifinals. I don't think he's getting Orton.
I think he might get Orton. Or no,
not in the semifinals.
Okay.
Because they're doing Raw and SmackDown people against each other.
Okay, so he either gets Sammy or whoever wins the other one.
Yeah.
Cool. Cody and Sammy could be fun.
Cody and Sammy will be fun. But that does sort of open us up to the possibility of Cody versus Orton in the finals in Saudi.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
That shall be a banger.
That should be good.
If it wasn't for the fact that it's in Saudi, it would be awesome.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Yeah. But that was SmackDown. It was a fun episode. I was worried because of they've really dedicated to the 3-hour runtime.
Yeah.
And I was worried it would just put me to sleep. But, they're making the 3-hour show work. Because, they've had years of experience building it on Raw. So they know how to do one. And when they can get the right matches and the right storylines to happen, they can make it work. And I think they did that this time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, we have a marathon of AEW to talk about, Mr. Matty.
All right, so there is a very, very cool little cold open to start this show. It is Hangman Page arrives at the arena. Christopher Daniels is there, says, you need to keep an eye out for the Death Riders. They're definitely going to be trying to take you out, obviously, before your match with Moxley. And Hangman's like, I'll keep an eye on them. He walks into the arena, and there's a gentleman kind of baseball cap, dressed in all black, kind of facing the wall as Hangman walks past. He turns around, and it is Jon Moxley, who kind of looks into Hangman, kind of goes, and you watch Claudio and Yuta follow in after Hangman. So that will come up more later. The first match of the night is Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. They shake hands before it starts, and then it starts. It is so good. It is probably equal to the work they did at Forbidden Door last year. Ospreay's nose gets busted open real early. Ospreay hits that kind of hidden blade to the outside as Swerve sat on the apron, like the one he hit on MJF, I think last year as well. Swerve at some point in the match counters Ospreay into Hangman's Deadeye. It is all gas. It is an all gas match that ends in a 30-minute time limit draw, which
just
woof.
Tony Khan just skipping the foreplay.
Yeah.
And jetting straight down to business.
It was insane. Swerve gets up there and goes I want more time. Let's do overtime. And then Mox shows up as a distraction, which allows the Young Bucks to come out and attack Swerve. They handcuff Swerve to the ropes, and they're going to give him the double super kick in the thumbtack shoes that Swerve hit them with at the pay-per-view. But just as they're about to do it, Ospreay dives in last second and takes the shot for him as the Bucks kind of run off. That looks like we're going to get the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve at All In, which, yes.
Sold.
Oh my God.
Sold.
Yes. Please and thank you.
Yep.
Next up, we very briefly see Don Callis talking with Okada backstage. More of that later. Next up is CMLL's Mystico. He comes out, has a very quick and prompt match with Blake Christian, in which he wins. He hits a beautiful top rope Spanish fly. It is a thing, like, it is picture perfect. After that, MJF and the Hurt Business come out so that MJF can run down Mystico. He does the full American hero shtick that he did when he won the international title from Ospreay last year. Flag and the streamers and all of it. And essentially runs down Mystico, tells him he will always be sloppy old Sin Cara to him. Which then leads into the Hurt Business versus Kevin Knight, Speedball, and yes, Masquerada Dorada. MJF is in MVP tribute gear. He has like the jumpsuit.
I saw that. That looked cool.
It was cool. He attempts the ball and elbow later in the match, which Dorada avoids. Too much fun. At one point in the match, Masquerada gets whipped into the heel corner, and Bobby Lashley just yeets him out of the ring. He just picks this man up and dumps him on the outside, like you would lift shopping. Like, it's terrifying.
Because if you're Bobby Lashley, you can do that.
It was scary. It is a very, very crazy fun match. It's like, it is the AEW Dynamite, like, 6-man all-star extravaganza. It is very much speed versus power. MJF gets the win for the heels. He then singles out Masquerada Dorada and actually unmasks him. The luchador covers up, which causes Mystico to run back up, hits MJF with La Mystica, his big kind of rotating armbar, which MJF then visually taps out to before, runs away to avoid the rest of the Hurt Business. Another match, 3 matches in, and they've all been all speed already. Hangman Page is set to make his way to the ring next. He is dragged out by Claudio and Yuta. His hands are bound. His mouth is taped shut. He gets brought into the middle of the ring by the Death Riders. Moxley kind of lords over him, telling him that unless he's ready to look death in the face, that he should just pack his shit and leave right now, which Hanger kind of like defiantly headbutts him for.
Yeah.
The heels then go to brutalize him with a chair, and they're run off by the Ops. Samoa Joe, Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs come out, and then Hanger gets on the mic and says, I would ride through death itself to get that world championship, which, yes, I am always for fired up Hangman. It makes me happy. Next up is Ty Mello and Anna Jay, or Tay J, versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Mega bad.
Sorry, can I just
yes, of course.
Ask a quick question? Is Hook still in the Ops? Because I know he got injured.
Yeah, but then he came back at the pay-per-view and was going to help them out, and like Samoa Joe was like, get in, and he went like, nah, and walked to the back. So like, I don't know. I think that is a thing they will have to
it's a story they'll have to finish later.
Ultimately finish, yes.
Yeah.
But the two teams of ladies have a fantastic tag team match. Mega Bad have a really cool like dual entrance. Penelope Ford and Mega Bayne have committed to the matching gear. It is very much all gas. It's a good 10-minute match. Ty Mello looks fantastic. Like, she did not lose a single step despite being injured and also now a mother. Works stiff and hard with all of her kicks and hits the TKO on Penelope Ford for the win for the Faces, which was fantastic. Next up,
there's a good chance that Ty Mello has a pretty good training partner to get her ready to come back to the ring.
I'd say so. I'd say so. Big video package up next for summarizing Okada and Omega's matches in New Japan. 6 minutes of it. It is on YouTube and to all of social media. Please go watch it. It's very, very good. Tony Schiavone brings them to the contract signing for the newly unveiled AEW Unified title. The side plates on it are very cool. One is the One-Winged Angel and one is the Rainmaker of being hit, which is kind of awesome. The two wrestlers come out, sign the contracts, talk a little bit back and forth, shake hands, feel very respectful. Don Callis then comes out to trash talk Kenny. He comes out with like one of those like adjustable kind of nightstick batons. And as he does that, Okada attacks him from behind, aligning with Don. He hits Kenny with a big elbow drop to the midsection, which is obviously where he was like previously sick and injured with diverticulitis. And then as he's being stretchered out, he hits another top rope elbow drop onto Kenny on the stretcher. Kenny Omega has the blood pack in the mouth. He's going full theater kid. It's ridiculous. He's like choking and burbling all this blood.
And then tomato sauce.
It's so silly. But then they have a homage to when Don Callis and Kenny Omega screwed Moxley back in 2020. It's one of those things where the camera kind of follows them to the back and they just leave, go straight into an SUV and take off and speed away with nothing else given. And that is the end of the Dynamite portion of the show. And then the Collision part of the show starts with Adam Cole coming out to do his full stick right after like Kenny's just been wheeled off and died, which just makes it immediately hilarious where it's like, oh no, Kenny Omega, that's so terrible that just happened.
It's what Kenny would have wanted.
Like, yeah, it's so silly. It's so funny. This comes out.
Sorry.
No, please continue.
When they do these 4-hour blocks, right? Because I understand it's booked as like a Dynamite block and then a Collision block right after it. Do they feel like two different shows or just one continuous?
They feel slightly like two different shows. Like it's not. They do still have different pacing.
Do you have Nigel McGuinness on the second half?
Yeah. The commentary team changes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it still swaps over.
So it feels like just a Dynamite and a Collision, not just one big Dynamite.
Correct. Yeah. It's different back to back.
That's cool. I like that.
Adam Cole is out to commentate the match between Anthony Bowens and Carl Fletcher, as both of them are kind of like arguing for their own TNT title shots. It is a very, very good match. They give Anthony Bowens plenty of shine. He actually teases that like outside the apron powerbomb that he almost annihilated Adam Cole with a couple of weeks back, or that gets counted. Fletcher does ultimately win this match in the end, though, with the big sheer drop brainbuster, calling out Adam Cole afterwards, of course. Please give our boy the belt. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Next out, CMLL's Atlantis Jr. and Atlantis Senior. Okay, so this is really chaotic. Let me do this as fast as I can. So they come out to talk to kind of Tony Schiavone, and then they get interrupted by Stokely and FTR kind of being disrespectful about the Atlantis family, mocking him, like they're calling Atlantis Senior washed up. No one cares about your legacy. So this starts to become violent, and the FTR get the upper hand, but then Adam Cole, he runs in from commentary to help out, but then the Don Callis family are like, we can beat up Adam Cole, so then some of them come out to beat up Adam Cole, but then Bandito and Tempario, they come into the ring to be like, we're more luchadors, to kind of even up the odds, and the melee kind of culminates with like all of the goodies kind of standing united against all of the baddies. It kind of just kept adding people, and
there's more.
Kind of. It was very fun, though. We get a brief segment backstage with Big Bill and Brian Keith, who are interrupted by the Workhorsemen who have returned, JD Drake and Andy Henry. I am very happy to have them back. I hope that, I'm sure this sets up a future match. I'm just happy for them to be back and not injured anymore, those two poor buggers. Next up is Julia Hart and Toni Storm, our Toni Storm, before the match, Sky Blue immediately interferes, attacking Toni Storm, causing her to get ejected from ringside. They get this good back and forth match. Tony eventually kind of rolls up Julia Hart with a small package to get her done in a kind of fastest 8-minute match. Mercedes Moné, who was sat ringside with all of her belts and somehow an even bigger steak dinner, comes in after to attack Tony. She's kind of they're doing the sniffing thing. It looks like they're gonna be tender. She essentially lesbian baits Toni Storm.
The fight or fuck stare down. Yes.
100%. And they're like,
we're
oh my
either
God.
Gonna see some violence or some gay shit.
Are we gonna
Maybe
make out?
Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, and then they almost make out, and then Mercedes attacks her.
Yeah.
And then Mina Shirakawa comes in to run her off. But then Mercedes comes back and attacks them both and kind of clears them both out, and then holds the world title over Tony. So good for Mercedes to get a whole bunch of heat. And also...
Big bit of build.
Yeah, big bit of build.
Nice.
Then there is a fun and random mixed trios match that comes up next with I guess the remaining members of the conglomeration, which is Mark Briscoe, Tomohiro Ishii, and Willow Nightingale, versus Taya Valkyrie and MXM. And it is
Cool.
exactly as silly as it sounds like it is. At one point in the match, Taya Valkyrie is like chest bumping Ishii, and you just watch him look at his corner, confused, like what is this insane lady doing? It is very, very silly. It's 5 minutes of silly. Willow gets the win with a gut wrench powerbomb. It's just a fun little bit of business.
If it gets Willow on the show, I'm happy.
Correct.
Love
Correct,
Willow.
sir.
She's the best.
Next up is the ROH champion Bandito versus the Beast Mortos. And legitimately, like I said this before, I know a lot of people don't watch ROH much. Go and watch this match. It'll be on YouTube. It's insane. Like it's up there. Like it's up there with being as good as the main was. Like the Swerve Osprey, like the opener. Despite them getting way less time, they go buck wild for about 12 minutes. It is insane. Beast Mortos has a hell of a spear on him. And then Bandito eventually picks up the much bigger man and wins with a top rope moonsault fall away slam. Like somehow it's ridiculous.
He is deceptively strong.
Bandito, big strong boy. He's like what Tyler Bate used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like tiny
like
but
he
strong
does not
somehow.
look like he should be that strong, but he just is.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's very fun. Please go watch it. Brief segment backstage. Mercedes has decided that 5 belts is simply not enough belts. So she challenges the current CMLL champion Xerxes to a match, which is accepted for next week. So maybe she'll have 6 belts soon. In the most interesting kind of bit of backstage stuff for me, Hangman runs into the Bucks backstage. And they go, this is great. This is fantastic. We're trying to get rid of Swerve. Or you said you never wanted Swerve to win the title again. Like, we're doing this for you. This is the plan. And Hangman kind of goes, there is no plan. I don't know what plan you're talking about. There's never been a plan. Like, please kindly fuck off. The exact words he says is, stay out of my business. Stay out of Osprey's business. And then after a pause, and stay out of Swerve's business, which gets this big pop. They kind of break apart. Unbeknownst to them, behind the door, just behind where they were talking, Prince Nana has been eavesdropping. And he comes back in and talks to Swerve. He goes, boss, did you hear that? And which Swerve kind of just ominously says every word. And that's the end of that segment. So I think they're
It's been
slowly...
a big couple of weeks for eavesdropping.
Yeah, it is. It was very much like the Batista bit again, like from last week where we had the Batista bit again with Jacob Fatu. Yeah. It does kind of seem like that. Coming up next is Tekla versus Queen Aminata. I hoped last week that they got time, and they got time. It is a wonderful kind of 12 to 15 minute match. It is super hard hitting. I don't know if the point of this match was just that look at how tough Tekla is to be able to survive this, but goddamn, does Queen Aminata lay it in. There's this one corner kick she delivers where like they're like sat and are like, God, it looked like she kicked her head off for a second. It was absolutely brutal. And then Tekla is able to wear this onslaught, locks in the death trap submission, which forces Queen Aminata to tap out. But yeah, I'm very glad they got time. I did time it across the show. There is about 35 to 40 minutes of wrestling across the full thing, which is pretty good. It probably should have still been more, but that is much more than last week, and I will happy that it is, you know, on the improvement. So yes. I will take it. There's this brief segment I just wanted to cover just because it's the same with what we talked about last week. It is Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. They're talking backstage. Nick asks where Christian is. We keep saying he's giving you space for all of your hard work. And then when Nick asks where his mother is, he says Christian has decided to also reward her with some hard work. He cannot keep getting away with this. I don't know how he keeps getting away. It's not okay. And then there was a video over the weekend because it was American Father's Day. And he goes, if your father sucks, please wish me a happy Father's Day. He can't keep getting away with this. I don't know how it keeps happening. But it does.
Yeah. And honestly, here for it. Yeah.
Here for it. Look, it's leading to clear tension between like Nick Wayne and Christian. Like that'll happen. That should be really, really fun. Um,
And
yes,
do we
please.
know at this point how old is Christian Cage?
Late 40s, I believe.
So would you think he might be at a point where he might be ready to retire? And maybe
I think
that's
it's
sort of his thing on his way out. He's going to put over Nick Wayne.
probably. Look, this is probably the part of his career where he'll start to wind it down slightly.
Yeah.
Again, I assume him and Adam Copeland Edge will probably do another thing before they both kind of give it the send off. But yeah, probably
A bit of a tag run.
for sure.
Yeah.
Whether they even if they don't win a belt, like just to do a couple, like just to do like them FTR, them v the Bucks, like you know what I mean, like just do all the big ones would be super worth it. The final match of this marathon show is an everybody get in the pool match. It is Paragon, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Daniel Garcia versus members of the Don Callis family, Korosta Takeshita, Josh Alexander, Hechicero, and Lance Archer. It is the everybody get in the pool match. There is some really, really good technical wrestling at the start between Daniel Garcia and Hechicero, which is really, really fun. Action kind of picks up from there, where you've got like Lance Archer doing big guy stuff. You've got Kyle and Roddy hitting cool tag team stuff. Konosuke Takeshita being the coolest person who's ever lived. Josh Alexander suplexing everybody. Baddies get the win on this one. Takeshita from the outside gets this sneaky elbow, which Josh Alexander then capitalizes on for the pin. And that is the final match of a 4-hour show. There is not a 4-hour show for me to deal with next week. There's a 2.5-hour show, and then I think also a 2-hour show. So technically, there's more show, but I don't have to watch it all in one sitting.
Coming.
I don't have to watch it all in one sitting, at least. So yeah, it is. We are definitely chugging nicely along to the build up for All In. I mean, look, even if just off the announced matches are Tony Mercedes, Mox and Hanger, Omega and Okada. If we're adding like Swerve Osprey versus the Bucks to that, like if we're looking at Carl Fletcher, Adam Cole to that, like yeah, we're looking in pretty good shape for that to be an outrageous show.
That's AEW's thing, saving all the biggest bangers for the pay-per-view, which you expect. And being the biggest pay-per-view in the biggest arena they can find, you would expect it to be, top to bottom, absolute murderer's row of all the best matches you can think of. So, yeah, I'm on board. I'll most likely get this pay-per-view. I will buy this pay-per-view.
You could watch Gunther versus Goldberg instead. Same day.
Well, shit, you're selling me now.
Look, there's some people that's for that, obviously, but
yeah,
it's not me. And speaking of some things that are for everybody, not for everybody, but for different kinds of people.
Is it time? Is it time?
I need to make...
It's time for Matty's YouTube pick of the week.
It is kind of the obscure match recommendation of the week. It's not a match. It's a whole belt. So over in Japan, there is a promotion called DDT Pro, which is insane. It's very much like comedy and ridiculousness, and amongst the comedy and ridiculousness, they have something called the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship, which became a thing in the year 2000, I believe it was. It's very much like the 24/7 or hardcore title, where it's defended all of the time. It's defended all of the time by anything and everyone whenever. So just for some brief statistics, as of the current month we're in, June, year of our Lord 2025, there have been 1,748 officially recognized reigns between 431 human individuals, 8 teams, and 57 inanimate objects or animals. The record for the most reigns is held by Shinobu, who's held it 216 times, included by trading the title back and forth with 215-time champion Yoku Miyamoto, a total of 303 times on a single night. Only 155 individuals have held the title for longer than one day. The title has been occasionally won by unusual means, such as an auction, rock, paper, scissors, and even a title change that occurred in a dream.
I see.
Yep. Non-wrestlers have a bunch of non-wrestlers have held it. So a cat, a monkey, a ladder, which is a 3 times champion. To the point where they retired the ladder and had a send-off ceremony for it with like pyrotechnics and streamers. A copy of the Young Bucks autobiography once won the belt. And then my favorite random piece of trivia for it, the 1000th holder of the title was the title itself, because the title was laid upon the victor who laid down, which technically counted as a pin. So the belt won itself, which is the most wonderfully self-affirming thing.
It's a Dobby moment.
Kind of, yeah, very much so. Look, like the basis of what I've given you is insanity. It is insanity. It is definitely not for everybody, but there is laughs in there for you if
There's
you're
a
happy.
place in wrestling for silly, fun wrestling. And DDT is it.
It felt like when last week is the seriousness of Kobashi versus Joe, this is the total opposite of the not seriousness. Like, put it into YouTube, put it into Daily Motion, dump it into Twitter. It is the Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship. You will find something silly and funny. Please go and watch some silly and funny, because there is so much silly to be had with that stupid belt. It is a very, very good time. And if you want to kind of take a step back from the serious and just laugh at something silly, then it thoroughly earns my recommendation to you. You have to go check it out. If you've never seen any of it, like, you have to go watch some of this. It's so dumb, but like,
I
in
haven't
like a Jim
seen
Carrey movie way, you know, like,
yeah,
it's that kind of dumb. It's good.
Yeah. Alrighty. I haven't seen a whole lot of DDT, but I'm going to see it because you've really sold this title.
Every
so
once in a while,
check it out.
Every once in a while, it's really funny because they'll have like someone's like Minoru Suzuki shows up a decent amount in DDT, and it's hilarious to watch such a like grumpy, serious wrestler. Like, it almost feels like he's fallen into a nightmare. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh no, I've ended up here. Like, he had a match on a train, like a moving train, like a passenger train.
Yeah,
like if someone
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just a regular metro train. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the like, who was it? Was it Kobashi? I think Kobashi was like one of the passengers on the train and like got up and jumped. Like, it's so silly. Like, it is well worth a giggle. Yes, well, you okay? You're all right.
No, I think we both glitched out at the same time with our internet connections. So it was just like, you went pixelated, then I went pixelated.
Like, technology happened. I thought you just like got lost in dreaming about Suzuki wrestling on a train. You're just like, yes, that would be strange. Yes.
Yeah. That's entirely possible as well.
True.
It's late. We've both had big days. God damn it. This'll do.
This will do. We'll get to talk about this next week, I suppose. We got Grand Slam Mexico. We've got the finals. I guess the final couple people for Kings and Queens of the Rings will be done by next week. So
yes, the semi-final round will be set.
There should be all sorts of fun to be done next. I think Grand Slam Mexico has even more get everyone in the pool matches. Like, I think they're more insane somehow. Like there's a 10-man tag that they announced, and then later they were just like, fuck it, 12-man tag. They made another even bigger one. Like,
I think MJF and
Mystico,
that's going to be the show stealer. I've got such high hopes for it. Like,
Mercedes and Zeuxis could do an insanely good job as well, actually. Like, Mercedes and Luchadors is always fun. Luchadora, obviously.
She does really well with that sort of matches.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. But that brings us to a close because there's just, I'm just frothing at the mouth at imagining how good the next couple of weeks of pro wrestling is going to be, because I know that Grand Slam Mexico is going to be sick. But until then, thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of my co-host, Mr. Matty, I am Steve Willis. You are loved, and I will see you next time.
Bye, Nan.